I bought the business and found out I was pregnant with my second child. I needed to have a scale of 3 or 4 spas to be able to justify that overhead. How hard can it be? I had 3 parties approach me out of the blue within a 3-month period. If you ever want to sell, don't do it.
When is the right time to just jump and expand your salon, move to a larger space, or just buy or build a second or a ninth location? Or when is the right time to just sell it all and walk away? I have talked to quite a few salon owners recently inside of the Salon Mastery program who are both looking to expand their salon or sell and retire. But this time, thinking of expansion or what's next can be stressful. And what if the next location is not profitable and I end up losing it all? Or what if I jump too quickly in selling my salon and end up losing my cash flow and I regret it? Like, what else am I going to do? Both decisions can take months or even years to decide. Or sometimes an opportunity just walks right past your door that you just can't pass. I'm really excited to be sharing with you the chat that I had with Heidi. She is the founder and former CEO of Form Spa, who after 21 years and 9 salons recently decided it was the right time to sell it all and walk away. But really quick, before we start, I wanted to let you know that this episode is appropriately brought to you by the Salon Mastery Boardroom. The Boardroom is for salon owners who are already nailing $1 million plus and are ready to think about what's next for them, what's next for their business. Do we grow? Do we sell? Do we expand or do something completely different? Like become a salon coach. It's for $1 million plus salons only. If you need to join the $1 million conversation, there is a seat for you at the boardroom table, and this is where it's at. Okay, here is when to expand or sell your salon. Let's chat to Heidi. Heidi, welcome to the Salon Owners Collective podcast. Really pleased to have you join us.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
So for those who don't know who you are, let's start with who are you, Heidi? Where are you in the world? And what have you been doing with your life?
Wow, that's a very big question. I guess, who am I? I've recently sold my business, but for the last 21 years, I was the founder and CEO of Form Spa, which was the largest day spa group in New Zealand. Started that 21 years ago and grew it along the way, which I know we'll touch on later. And since I've sold the business, I've been enjoying traveling around the world and having some time out. I'm currently back in Auckland and just figuring out what's next.
I love that. I love that you've created some space to not rush into something and you're just taking your time on what's next. So that's really lovely. So let's just go back to pre-Form Spa. Were you a therapist? Like, how did you get started in this industry?
No, I never was, and I never will be because I'm way too impatient. And a 60-minute massage would take me 10 minutes, and then the client would be looking at me. So no, it was never a path I wanted to go down. Prior to Form Spa, my background was in marketing. I was in the country for various brand advertising agencies, and so I guess really saw the value of building a brand. Had my daughter and went back to that. It was pretty hard to juggle with a little 2-year-old and thought, what do I enjoy doing? I love having a facial, love having a massage, and a little business came up, which was primarily sunbeds. They had a treatment room in Ponsonby and a little villa there. And I thought, well, why not? How hard can it be? And so, yeah, that was the start of the journey. And I guess, I'd love to say I had this vision and I was going to build this national company and I saw this exit in 20 years' time, but it was nothing like that. I was a mum that I wanted to work and was looking for freedom and flexibility. And that's kind of why I opened that door.
I love that. I probably for both of my businesses have been the same. Started small beginnings and really just each time you just see the next step. And I think it's a good way to go to be organic about it. All right. Well, you ended up with 9. So let's just start back at number 1. How long was it that you had that business before you decided to open number 2?
Not long. Um, so I bought the business and found out I was pregnant with my second child. So
Oh, golly.
it was an incubation of 2 times, and during that first 10 months or 9 months, I guess, that uh, it was a lot about building the brand. At that time in the industry, most spas or salons, we were called then, had a yellow pages ad was the total extent of their marketing efforts,
A
and
physical book.
a physical book with many pages that was the Bible to find somebody. And there was very few businesses that had more than one location back then as well. So I guess I knew I wouldn't be a very good therapist, and you focus on what you can do. And for me, that was my comfort zone was sort of marketing and design. And so I refitted out the salon, made it very modern, had a wonderful friend who prompted me to do chocolate brown walls, which 20 years ago was pretty out there, and just really sort of made it a lot more cutting edge in the day then, and focused my efforts on building a brand, using whatever PR opportunities came my way, and marketing. So it was May 2002 that the first one opened, and I bit of a funny story. I was about to have my son, and this is when we had the physical newspapers as well. And I was going through the property to let, and I saw an advertisement for a villa to let in Parnell, and they were saying, "We're taking you through it." I was no, no. And I rang, and they said, "Sorry, it's gone." And I said, "Look, I'll leave my number just in case it falls through." Hey, my boy. And a couple of days later, they rang me and said, "Look, it has fallen through. Are you interested in the villa in Parnell?" And I was like, "I'm still in hospital for a couple of more days. Can you hold it for me?" So leaving the hospital was very much the baby in the car seat, going through the villa, and
Heidi, I
negotiating.
love that story.
And then we opened in, oh gosh, I think it was April 2003 was the second one.
Wow.
Two new ventures at the same time.
Golly gosh. All right. Talk to me about the size of your team that you had in location 1 before you decided location 2. Like, was this on a whim or was it quite strategic at that time?
It was basically the business was profitable before I bought it, but it had a working owner in it, and essentially I had to replace that person, so it was adding a whole new wage. Thankfully, the marketing and the work that we did in our fit out really paid off. So within sort of 6 months, we were doing incredibly well financially. So at that point, I had a team of 3 therapists, and it was like, this is actually really, at that point, really easy. And well, if I can do one, how much harder will it be to do 2? And it was just sort of a logical step then to expand into a second location.
I want to just talk about having 2 locations and 2 little babies for a moment because I speak with a lot of salon owners who just completely mimicked the exact story that you've said there. Like, first one's going really well. How can it be? I can do this again. What was your experience of then having 2? How did that change? Was that true for you? Was it that easy as it was number 1? And of course, I'm mindful now that you have 2 young children.
Yes, look, we were profitable within about 9 months of opening the second one. And so, when you're making money, everything's easy. It's when you're running at a loss or when you're breaking even, the challenges and the pressures are far greater. And we had in that first period, which was less than a year, we had managed to get momentum with the brand. And so when we opened the second location, we already had brand awareness. And I guess, me as a marketer, I'll never underestimate the value of a brand and how much easier it makes it if you've invested in your brand to then open a subsequent locations. I think it would also put a lot of energy into our procedures. And so that's so important when you start to scale and grow. So it was very easy to create the exact same experience in the second location that we were offering that was so popular in the first location. So, you do need to kind of do the groundwork first to make sure that what you're doing is going to be the same in both locations. Look, it's quite a long time ago. So I'm looking back with rose-colored glasses and going, it wasn't that hard. But I'm sure there were moments that it was challenging. We had a great team. It was a beautiful villa. It was a much larger villa than the first one. And, we were busy. So when you're busy and you're making money, everything is easier.
Yes, I really agree with that because it's the difference between rose-colored glasses and having really dark shades on, I think. And I know that especially as Kiwis, we can be what's the right word, Heidi? Prioritizing profit doesn't feel heartwarming and giving and client caring and team caring. And sometimes that becomes the roadblock to, oh, it's not all about the profit. I just love my clients and I love my team. But I actually think that's a mistake because if we don't prioritize profit, actually everything feels hard and we start to become resentful for the business. So I'm really pleased that you said that because I just think that is the root cause of a lot of underlying challenges and that weight of being in business.
Look, it's not all about the money because at the end of the day, everyone has to be happy. You have to have a happy team and you have to have happy guests because otherwise you don't have a business. And so it's not profit at all costs or at all expense. But ultimately, you are in business to make a profit. If you're not making a profit, your business is not going to necessarily survive. And so if you're not surviving, then how can you support your team? How can you reward your team? How can you offer an excellent experience for your clients or guests? So it might be a dirty word, but it's a necessary evil. And it's not something I was ever excited about.
Yeah, and it just removes the pain so you can move
You
forward
can
and
breathe.
focus on the good stuff. You can breathe. Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about 2 to 9. You went from 2 locations to 9. Kind of give us the overall story. Over what period of time? What were some of the challenges, and what were some of the economies of scale that you could enjoy by having 9?
Sure. Well, it was kind of a bit of a rapid burst. We did 3 and 4. I was up to fourth in 3 years. So, and 3 and 4 were Remuera and Takapuna, where I bought existing businesses, which was, interesting. Where you go through the process of what have I actually bought. I don't want the stock. I'm introducing different products. There some of the team, yes, we'll keep, but we're changing the brand, etc. There, so it's a really interesting evaluation to consider in your growth journey as to whether you're better off starting from scratch or whether you're better off acquiring an existing business. I mean, sorry, I'm segueing a little bit, but one of the advantages of buying an existing business in the beauty industry is that often a lot of the configuration, the rooms will be there, the plumbing will be there, etc. So just from a pure sort of key money, acquiring a good location with the infrastructure there can be more economical than starting from scratch and having to build the whole internal structure there. But it's really depends on location. So we went from Ponsonby, Parnell, Remuera, Takapuna. And at that point, it was kind of like, hey, we're at 4. We're playing in a bigger pond now. And I was at that point that
Hey, it's me. It's just me, and I'm quickly jumping in to interrupt and say, hey, thanks for listening to this episode, and I hope you're loving this episode. Now, let me ask you, do you ever feel like you've reached the top of the mountain and you just don't know what to do next? Like if you're $1 million business and maybe you're about to reach it or maybe you're already there, but now you're feeling a bit lost because the strategies that got you there aren't going to get you to your next milestone. What got you here isn't going to get you there. Sometimes the things that we did just don't work anymore. But I have some powerful strategies just for you. The Salon Mastery Boardroom is designed for $1 million plus businesses, and you'll learn how to take your salon to the next level whilst being surrounded by a community of other $1 million like-minded salon CEOs. Those CEOs are there to support and uplift you. So I'd like to invite you to join me for a complimentary $1 million strategy call We'll discuss your business, your role in the business, and how to explore how you can grow your team, your leadership team, and develop the people so you can take the next step and reach that next milestone. All you need to do is click apply now in the show notes of this episode. It will take you through but a couple of quick questions, then you can book a strategy call with me. All right, that's enough. Let's get back to the episode.
I hired a wonderful lady called Rachel, who was ex-Steiner Cruises and had a huge amount of experience managing spas. And she joined us initially as front desk and then was managing one of the spas. And I promoted her to area manager. And that was quite a game changer for me. I needed to have a scale of 3 or 4 spas to be able to justify that overhead there. So, there's tipping point probably in both ways, both financially tipping point in terms of can I justify this extra salary spread over X number of locations, and there's tipping point with yourself personally of how long can I continue to manage this business as it grows, and am I the best person for the job of the day-to-day management? Am I better? I was better off strategically, and Rachel was great day-to-day, as an ex-therapist, motivating the team and being able to train and do those aspects of the role there. So, and then 5 was Albany, which was quite a big one for me because it was a concrete shell. So there was no infrastructure, no ceilings, no floors, no walls, and it was quite a large space. And then after that, I kind of felt that we'd pretty much exhausted our reach in Auckland and was going to be Christchurch, but unfortunately it's when the earthquake hit. And so then went Hamilton, Wellington, Christchurch, Queenstown. Sorry, there's Mount Eden's in there somewhere as well. And I did actually have 11 locations at one point. So we had 2 in Wellington. And, there's new challenges as you grow when you move out of the city that you're in. It adds a completely different aspect to managing the business when you have geographic distances, particularly in the culture. When you're in one city and you've got maybe team members moving between locations, so you can build a real team spirit that's greater than one location, like an overall city culture. When you've suddenly got somebody in Queenstown who hasn't met any of the team or has met one of
No.
it's a much different challenge. So, there's things to consider along the way.
Yeah, for sure. So just for those that are listening and don't know much about New Zealand, the distance between Queenstown and Auckland is, what is that, 2 hours on an airplane?
Yeah,
2.5?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's some real geographical distances. This is hopping on and off airplanes to get around the team. So I'm interested in your area manager. At what point did you realize, what was her capacity to manage 9 or 11? Did you have to break up the North and South
Yeah.
Island?
We tried various different, structures along the way. Initially, Rachel was just Auckland, and then next was Hamilton. So that was sort of in the reach. Rachel was with me, I think, about 5 odd years. The timing's a little bit blurring, and then we promoted one of our, generally promoted from within, we're always promoted from within, and we promoted one of our other managers into the role as we grew, and they were in a national capacity over time. We then added an area manager for Auckland and had our final structure was with a national manager who oversaw all locations, but an area manager effectively managing Auckland with 5 locations there. So that seemed to work effectively.
Okay, I love that. Your exit has been reasonably recent. Let's talk about the economy and things that changed. I feel like we had COVID, we survived COVID, we worked out COVID, and then the economy shifted again, and we just got our act together and everything changed all over again. What are your thoughts and experiences of how that's impacted the industry and even how that's impacted you personally? What would your thoughts be on that?
Well, look, for me, I'm so grateful for whatever power that be presented me with opportunities to sell just prior to COVID. I had three parties approach me out of the blue within a 3-month period after 20 years. So I was like, okay, the universe is telling me something here. Well, it is time to move on. And the one of the meetings was Valentine's Day, February the 14th, 2020. So we started which was with Endota, who were the eventual owners of the business. And obviously, March 20, we went into lockdown a month later. So that whole process was, all bets off, all bets on as we went into and out of lockdowns, and negotiated during that time to eventually, between lockdowns, reach agreement, and work out the exit. So timing for me was, exceptional. I guess how it actually all came together. Um, the year, I guess, after the last year of owning the business between 22 to 23, obviously we were all booming. All spas and salons were busy after, I guess, lockdowns and COVIDs had kind of finished after that long 4-month final one that nearly killed us all off. And so for me, I exited at a time where I guess our biggest challenge at that point was staff, with the borders having been closed for so long. We had a high proportion of international employees, and during COVID, a lot of them had gone back overseas, and it was very difficult hiring at that time. So we had demand, but our biggest challenge was we just didn't have capacity because we couldn't get enough therapists on it into our spas. I guess since then, things have changed in the last year or so drastically with the economy, and presents a whole range of new challenges there in terms of managing cash flow and managing, probably even nearly as important as cash flow, is managing your culture and keeping yourself positive and keeping your team positive. And really, in a way, when you're busy, it's very easy to be complacent. When everybody's, busy and all we're worrying about is how tired we are. But essentially, we're not worrying about the book because, the 4 diaries looking full. We've got team members that are earning enough hours and commissions, so they're happy. And our biggest thing is just really the logistics of keeping the wheels turning. And then when you end up in a situation like now in the current economic environment, often spas and salons do have excess time, and it's a bit like during lockdowns. We use that time so much, like it was kind of an opportunity to strategize, to train, and to really look at what can we do better. So we came out of lockdowns even stronger than before we went into them. But it's a real discipline because it's very easy to become despondent and to become stressed and, worry how you're going to pay your rent and worry about how you're going to pay your wages and having to cut staff hours and things like that. So I guess it's trying to sit yourself down and have a talk with yourself in terms of going, okay, we're not as busy as we are. What are the things that we can do to improve this business? The economy will pick up. No one knows exactly when it's going to pick up and how rapidly that's going to happen. But I think we can all know that at some point, interest rates are starting to drop, tax brackets have changed. Sun is shining in Auckland today. Hopefully some positivity will come our way. So, it's how do we make the most of this time so that when the diaries are full and we are busy again, that we're really running really smoothly.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's this self-discipline to stay ahead of your team and of the business, no matter what's happening in the business, that you're staying in that leadership space. And I think that is the challenge, because it's an internal challenge as the business owner, isn't it? That we don't have the luxury of getting sad and depressed and despondent or falling out of love with our business, because it has a really big impact on the whole business and the whole team. And so I think that really is our biggest challenge as business owners, for sure.
Well, I think you can't expect your team to come in all perky and excited if you're looking there all stressed and tired and unhappy. Like, culture grows and it feeds. And no matter how you're feeling, it is always a case of, put a smile on your face and and keep the energy. I'm all about energy and keeping the energy up. If your energy is up, if you're, acknowledging, I think, acknowledging, yes, it's quiet, or yes, it's tough, come on, guys, what are we going to do differently? And to me, it's sometimes in that situation where budgets are tight, it's very hard to make any drastic changes. But if you improve 10 things by 1%, there's that old saying, you then got 10% improvement. And it's getting the team involved. I don't, if you have team meetings or things, like looking at each of your treatments that you do at meetings, to go, how can we make this better? Like, who's got ideas? And really involving your team to try and, I guess, just be the very best you can be, so that when things do pick up, your processes are very streamlined and your customer service or guest experience or client experience is better than your competition.
Yes, really what you're saying is it's time to step in, not to step away. Like, it's easy to step back, pull back, retract, but actually we need to step in and do better, become more, improve. And that holds well for while things are tough, but it really puts us in a good position for when things turn
Absolutely.
around.
I can tell you, during the lockdowns, I was not baking bread. I was working 6 days a week. And, it was really this focus. And I think now kind of needs to be a similar time of maximizing the opportunity to be better.
Yes, agree. All right, let's just touch on the timing for selling, because I have a philosophy that you should always have some kind of exit plan, even if you don't have an intent to execute said exit plan. But I think it's a good mindset to always be thinking about your business if I was going to sell, because it puts it removes us somehow from being the business. Would you agree?
100%. And I guess one of the things that I sort of realized, it was even with one location, going right back, that became sort of a fundamental principle for me in how I ran the business, was, if I sold this business tomorrow, if somebody bought this business tomorrow, what would they do better than what I'm doing now? And so it really held me accountable, because I would hate the thought of somebody coming in and going, well, this is rubbish how they do that, or they're not very good at this or that. And sometimes you also know there are things that you aren't addressing. And I guess by always having that in the back of my mind, it held myself accountable to do those things I didn't really particularly want to do, and to address things, so that I kind of felt I was sale ready for 20 years. um, that anything that was an issue, I tried to get on top of it and really run the business as well as it could possibly be run, to the best of my ability, with my fantastic team, as much of the time as possible.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Always thinking about that, even if you don't intend to sell.
And there's, like, a
I
lot of businesses that I looked at when I was acquiring businesses to scale would say to me, "Oh, yes, but it's much more profitable than that, because I take cash out of the business, or I do basically shonky stuff, costs that are going through the business. Those shouldn't really be in there." And it's, if you ever want to sell, don't do it. You know, um, Anyone buying business will not include any cash sales that you've taken out of the business. They will not care about expenses, that, oh, that stock was really mine, I took it home. If it goes through the books, it's included in the figures. And so, just keeping it clean. I had Australia's largest accounting firm do the audit when I sold the business, and go for your life. You won't find anything. And it's a lovely position to be in, where you just know that you're game ready. And if that you get that phone call that somebody says, "Hey, we're looking at opening a new area. Have you got any interest in selling?" That you can go, "Sure," if that is something that you're interested in, and just be prepared for it. Know that there aren't a whole pile of dust balls in the corner, and that your accounts aren't 2 months behind, and that you're pulling stuff through the business that you probably shouldn't be, because it's just going to really reduce the value of your business.
Yeah, and I think for the time that you have the business, then you know that you're also operating at good profit, it's a sustainable business, and if it is that good, then you actually can have the choice to stay. Like if business is going well, it's not heavily reliant on you, like it's a heavy burden. It's profitable. Like this is a good place to be in business, and so you have choice. And I think that choice to sell or to not to sell that's the luxury. I think.
And I think one of the
Right.
things to consider, just in the back of your mind, is what would I do if I did sell? Like, first of all, there's that I'm going to travel, I'm going to do this, that, and the other. But it is quite an adjustment if you've been operating your business in full on to then not be working. So, it's one of those wine conversations with a friend, maybe, to go, well, if I didn't have the business, what could I do? How would I fill my time? And some people have lots of hobbies and interests, and, they're like, I'm going to be playing golf and doing this and doing that and doing the other. But if you're not that person, it is like, okay, do I need to still earn? And how much do I need to earn? And how might I earn that? And I guess just have a few ideas tucked in your back pocket as such, so that if the opportunity does come and you do get that call or that message, that you've given it a little bit of thought along the way.
Yeah, it's a little bit like yes, you need to move. You need to know what you're moving towards. Otherwise, it's really hard to make a move if you don't have something that you're moving towards. So, as we wrap up, really keen to know what has your journey been like in terms of deciding to sell and what you're choosing to do next with your time, and what is the future for you, Hayley?
That's a very good question. I'm reading my tea leaves and they're not telling me the answer. Um, I guess the decision to sell was easy. There were three approaches. I was very aware that there will never be another time that I'm going to have three people, in this situation. So I immediately made the decision that yes, I will sell, and obviously need to maximise the return on that. So once that decision was made, I had close to a year's earn out where the deal was structured as such. So I finished up in March last year and really just was really looking forward to the only things being in my inbox were travel emails, fashion emails, food restaurant emails, and just having, I guess, things that were non-problematic or not, no issues coming in. So really enjoyed last year. I traveled for most of the period April to sort of October. Came back for summer and then March sort of headed off again. And I've just been back a few days now. And it is now sort of that point where I'm like, okay, there's a limit to how much time I can probably travel for without, I need to put down some roots. So I am looking at potential board roles, consultancy. I've done quite a bit of home renovation building. So I've got another project on the go there. And will I do another business? Possibly. Probably not as a CEO, probably more an advisory role as such, or buy into an existing business. So I guess I'm not in a hurry, and I'm sort of enjoying the process of actually speculating and go, what might life look like? And I guess the key thing for me is flexibility, because I do love to travel. And if I want to be in and leave for 3 months, I don't want to have that tie. I mean, I will just mention I was so blessed with my team that I had it for, and with many of them being with me for over 10 years. And so they knew what I thought before I was thinking it half the time. And it's certainly, if you can get that longevity in your business, it does give you a lot more freedom.
Yes, yes. Well, look, thank you so much for sharing your journey. I know that this is completely inspirational for a lot of salon owners who are listening, who are either stuck but want more or are considering exiting. It's been really great to hear your journey, and whatever you choose to do next, I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Feeling inspired? Making the decision to grow and expand or to sell your salon can definitely be a really stressful time, but sometimes an opportunity just comes along that you can't pass up. And if it feels like it's meant to be, then probably it is. Just like Hayley suddenly having 3 different offers to sell her business after 20 years in business. But before you think about growing, expanding, or selling, as Hayley mentioned, having a really strong system and process in place in your business is kind of everything. You want the 5-star experience and, of course, the 5-star profit in one salon so you can easily replicate it in your next. Doing it too soon is a recipe for disaster. I hope this episode has given you clarity on your next steps that you need to take as a salon CEO. Thank you again, Haydee, for joining me on the Salon Owners Collective podcast. And if you're already $1 million business or way beyond, I have space in the Salon Mastery boardroom just for you. All you need to do is click the Apply Now button in the show notes of this episode. Let's hop on a strategy call. Let's have a conversation. Share with me your business, your goals, your dreams. Maybe there's a space for you at the Salon Mastery boardroom table. Same time, same place next week. Ciao for now.